What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. I am alive. Welcome back. Glad to have everybody here. Don't forget, hit that like button on your way in. Tickle that notification bell. That will let you know every time I upload content. You know what we're going to do. Say it with me, y'all. Roll that clip. Before we get into this afternoon's live stream, shout out to all the nerds, the gamers, the geeks, the people that are, let me do a quick sound check. Make sure everything's good. There we go. So we're live in the place. Glad to have everybody tuning back in. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Welcome. Happy Friday. There's word on the street that a lot of people think nerds are sexy. And I don't have a problem with that. But my issue is that it's disingenuous. Nerds have never been attractive to women. Not only have nerds not been attractive to women, nerds have not been able to get women. And we're going to take a deep dive into why. Because over here, we want to look at what is a nerd, what is a geek, what is a dweeb, what is a incel, a loser guy. And I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd guy. And part of being a nerd or a guy that's into nerdy stuff is learning how to communicate. A lot of nerdy guys cannot communicate with women. They're socially awkward. A lot of nerdy guys work in IT. They're tech people. They work in tech. They work in software engineering. They work in data analyst. They're working in cybersecurity. And they're socially awkward and not people-oriented. And that's fine. But for women to say nerdy guys are hot, they're sexy, is just plain disingenuous. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to dive right into it. Do women love nerds? No, they do not. And during this show, I'm going to explain to you why, because I'm a nerd. So I've lived through a lot of what we're going to talk about. Now, just by looking at me right now, you would never tell I'm a nerd. But yeah, I'm a nerd. I work in tech. I'm a tech guy. I've built my own computer. I used to game on PC. I have an Xbox and a PS5 and a gaming YouTube channel. But just by looking at me, you would never tell that I'm a nerd or I'm a gamer. Do women love nerds? Well, first, this is the so-called nerd. Like, when you see or think about a nerd, this is typically the stereotypical nerd. Let me zoom in so everybody can see. Here we go. I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see. This is the typical nerd. Like when somebody says, I want to date a nerd, this is the nerd. This is what you say. There we go. So this is the This is the stereotypical nerd that when you see nerd or you think about nerd, this is what you say. The overweight guy with the computer. He has the Hardee's or the McDonald's bag. The desk is dirty. You typically see overweight guys sitting in front of a computer. Those are what women think about when they say nerds, and also this. Now, this is also when a woman says nerd or geek, this is the type of guy they're referring to. They're like, I don't want to date that. I don't want to date a guy like that. And for reference, those jugs are not apple juice. Google what those jugs are. They are not apple juice. But when you look at what a nerd is, you typically see this is what women think about when they think about nerds and geeks and gamers and people that play Xbox and PS5 all day, every day. So, what is a nerd? What is a geek? What is a dork? Before we can even talk about this, we've got to define what these things really are. So, a nerd is someone who is passionate about learning or smart. You typically see these people that go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Ivy League schools. Those are nerds. Those are the nerdy guys. The like when you think of nerd, you think of like Carlton Banks off of Fresh Prince. When I think of a nerd, I think of Carlton Banks. Very smart, very academically smart, very into a prestigious college like Yale or Princeton or Cambridge or UCLA or Stanford. Stuff like that. So a geek is someone that is passionate about some particular area or subject, often an obscure or difficult one. So it's like data science, computer engineering, nuclear physics, science. You think of like TV shows like The Big Bang Theory, where they're all PhD scientists hanging out, nerding out, playing or geeking out, playing computer games in the same room. Like those are the geeks. And then you have the dorks. The dorks are typically guys or anyone who has difficulty with common social interactions or expectations. Now, a lot of geeks can also be nerds, and a lot of dorks can also be nerds and geeks. They really can. Because when you look at geeks and nerds, and there a lot of people put these people into the same category. They just throw them all in one hat. So, what does the dictionary say? What a geek is? Let's look at that. What does the dictionary, if I can get my mouse to work on the correct screen? Hold on 1 second. Is my Wait a minute. Why? Hold on. All right, here we go. So it's back. What is a geek? Let me zoom out. What is a geek? A geek is a person who is knowledgeable about and obsessively interested in a particular subject, especially one that is technical. Keyword technical. Think of IT, cybersecurity, software engineering, data analyst, senior software engineer, penetration tester, red team, blue team, white hat, black hat, gray hat, hacking. Those are the types that are geeks. Technical or of a specialized niche or interest. Engage or discuss technical or computer related tasks obsessively or with great attention to detail. Geek Squad, Best Buy, Samsung, Apple, Microsoft, FANGs. How many of you know what a FANG is? Facebook, Apple, Google. I forgot what the N is. But those are, when you talk about geeks, you think about tech, FANGs, Apple, Microsoft, the whole nine. Those are geeks. A nerd and a geek, what's the difference? Because we gotta realize that there is a difference between a nerd and a geek. A nerd is socially awkward and an intelligent but single-minded person obsessed with a non-social hobby or pursuit. So these are the guys that are locking themselves away in their room for hours, building a computer, talking about tech, playing Xbox or Nintendo Switch. These are the nerds. The geek is a digital technology expert or enthusiast. Tech. FANG. And a person who has excessive enthusiasm for and some expertise about a specialized subject or activity. So now that we've defined what is a geek versus a nerd, where do you feel that you classify your own self in this category? Because some of us might be geeks, some of us might be nerds, some of us might not be either one. But I've never heard a woman say, I don't want to date this guy because he doesn't play Xbox or he never watched the new anime of Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho or Demon Slayer or another anime that people might watch. So again, these are tweets from women that claim they like nerds. So let's read it. Nerds are hot ASF. Why are people surprised women find nerds hot? We love your passion towards your interests. We also admire you working towards your future. Intellect is hot AF and will never undersell. So these women are getting on Twitter and they're saying, we love nerds. We love nerds. Nerds are cute. Nerds are sexy. And I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. If it wasn't for Megan the Stallion or Michael B. Jordan making nerdy stuff mainstream, nerds would not be popular at all. You have to understand how the black community works. When we talk about the black community, we have to understand that we are different. We follow after celebrities. The only reason why anime, gaming, nerds, geeks, software engineers, tech people are even popular right now is because of two people, Meg the Stallion and Michael B. Jordan. Before that, nobody cared about nerds and geeks. People made fun of them. Think about Urkel. Nobody wanted to date Urkel on Family Matters. Y'all remember that? Nobody wanted to date Urkel, but Urkel was a nerd. Everybody wanted to date who? Stefan. When Stefan walked in the room, this is what happened. And I'm only going to play a little bit of this because of copyright. But this is who people really wanted. Watch this. Watch this. This is from Family Matters. Look. See? Look. Notice what she did. When he comes in the room, she's looking, breaking her neck, turning around. But when Urkel comes in the room, now Urkel is a nerd. Remember that. Urkel, Carlton, nobody was checking for either one of them. Nobody. But now all of a sudden, being a nerd is cool and being a nerd is fun and it's sexy. BS. Get out of here with that BS. You're only saying that because of Megan the Stallion and Michael B. Jordan. That's it. Y'all never liked Urkel. Y'all never liked Carlton. Urkel and Carlton represent nerds. Intelligent, socially awkward, very smart, articulate. Women never gave either one of them a chance. The women wanted Stefan and Fresh Prince. They didn't want Urkel or Carlton. And that's how it was back in the early 80s, 90s, 2000s, even up until Megan the Stallion decided to make anime popular. So let's continue on because I wanna get into more. Where's my thing at? Here it is. So here we go. Here's more tweets of BS. I hate this preconceived notion that nerds don't have swagger or game. They honestly don't. Carlton didn't have swagger or game, and neither did Urkel. That's a you problem if you don't. Now, this is only half right. Half of this is correct, and I'm going to explain why a little bit later. Plenty of women out there love nerds and nerds themselves, and the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Because if people loved nerds, why did Urkel and Carlton never get a woman during the whole season of Family Matters or Fresh Prince. Why? And a lot of nerds can they can understand because a lot of us were Carltons and Urkels. So we can understand. Here's another tweet. This is exactly why a lot of you nerdy ends will never land a baddie. Y'all are so distracted about how a woman looks that you can't fathom there's still a whole a person with interests and hobbies. Black women love anime. Full stop. Period. Okay. I'm gonna challenge that because let me put on my nerd hat real quick. Let me put on my nerd hat. Yeah, I got my nerd hat on. So I'm gonna challenge that. Find me one instance of a black woman before Megan the Stallion and before Michael B. Jordan. Find me one instance where a woman liked anime. You won't find them. Because the girls that liked gaming or the women that liked gaming were chasing after who? The white guys. And I'm going to play a video in a few minutes that gives a very great background on what I'm saying. Because you have to understand is that a lot of women were never into gaming. Not only that, they didn't like gaming, they weren't into gaming or anime. They don't even know what anime is. A lot of them, you'll start talking to them, or the nerdy guy will start talking to a woman about anime, and the girl will be like, ick, and walk off. And see what I found in my life experience is that a lot of women, they like the guys that play NBA 2K and Madden, and that's it. They like the hood guys or the drug dealer guys that play NBA 2K and Madden, and that's it. And they can call themselves gamers because, hey, I play NBA 2K and Madden, so that's the video game. I'm a gamer. But being a gamer or a nerd or a geek is a lot deeper than just playing Madden and 2K. There's a whole lifestyle that the men that women want don't particularly partake in. They really don't. And you can even go in these communities and talk to gamers and nerds and geeks and tech guys and tech enthusiasts, and they will even tell you. So when we look at what's going on and see, let's talk about the girl, the quintessential black woman that's into gaming. Typically, this is what she's going to look like. This is what she's going to look like. This is the I'm into anime, gaming type girl, type female that women typically are when they say they're into gaming. Now, keep in mind, this is pre Megan the Stallion and Michael B. Jordan popularizing anime and gaming. This is the typical woman that you would see. And even this type of woman was not into black men that gamed. She was into the nerdy white guys the nerdy white guys that went to Princeton and Yale and UCLA and the Ivy League schools. That basically Carlton on the Fresh Prince, he tried to emulate the white guys that would date the black women. Like Hillary Banks is a perfect example. She symbolized the bougie black woman on the Fresh Prince. And her sister, the younger one, I forgot her name. I think her name was Ashley. She symbolized the down-to-earth, low-key black woman. But neither Hillary nor Ashley would even date a guy like Carlton. And in the video we're going to watch, that encapsulates a lot of what we're saying. So, this is the typical guy or the typical woman that we have now that likes anime and video games. And I'm going to go here. And you might like it, you might not. Oh, well. A lot of women that are into gaming and cosplaying, that's just another way to thought. You know, if you watched anime or played any type of game, anime does what people call fan service. So if you're not familiar with fan service, that basically says we're going to make the women in the anime or the video game half naked to appease men and to get men to watch anime. Because the men that typically watch anime hardcore are usually sex-starved men that have posters and waifus and all of this other stuff. It is a deep, deep road that we can't even get into the depths of it on this live stream. It would take at least 5 live streams to cover everything. But this is the typical nerd that we have now. Now, notice the difference between what we had back in the day and what we have now. And even these people that we have now are the same. They aren't dating the nerdy, geeky black guy. They aren't. Here we go. Steve Urkel. When women think of nerd, they think of Steve Urkel. Urkel. Or Carlton Banks. These are the two nerds that come up in a woman's mind when they think about what is a nerd, who is a nerd, am I in love with a nerd? This is nerd. This is geek. So, and then continuing on, like these are nerds and geeks. Eddie Murphy, you have Urkel. Like when a woman thinks about nerd and geek and a guy that's into gaming and anime, this is what they think about. They aren't thinking about a guy that's wearing a suit like Stefan. They aren't thinking about a guy with swag or a guy that has game or riz, as the people call it now. They call it riz. They don't have riz. These people don't have riz. So we're going to get into this video, and I want you to pay very close attention to what this guy is saying, because a lot of what he is saying is true. Whether you want to believe it or not, a lot of what he is saying is true.
I want you to put the word out there that we back up.
And I'm going to put the link to this video in the description. So if you want to check out the full video, it'll be in the link to this video will be in the description. And the title of this video is The Plight of Black Nerds, which, let's go. The Plight of Black Nerds.
Alright, so what's poppin', y'all? I'm back after 2 months of not uploading nothing. I got a longer video in the works. Here's a clip. If nobody got me, I know women complaining about men on the internet got me. Can I get an amen? So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. Anyways, a couple of weeks ago, I came across this Twitter thread, and when I saw it, I knew I had to talk about it because it related to me personally. Now, me and Twitter have a love-hate relationship. On one hand, some of the funniest people alive are on Twitter, but on the other hand, some of the dumbest people alive are on Twitter. But
I agree. I'm on Twitter, and a lot of people on Twitter are just plain dumb. Like, sometimes I'll be reading tweets on Twitter, and I'm like, were you dropped on your head when you were born? Like, what happened? Are you just tweeting to go viral? Are you just tweeting to piss people off? What are we doing? A lot of people on Twitter shouldn't have a computer.
over the years, I've learned how to balance it out because you got to do that if you want to be on Twitter and not lose brain cells. And very few tweets move me to the point to where I feel I have to make a video on them. Like it is my duty, my calling to talk about this. Here's the tweet in question. Now, upon initial contact, this tweet was a bit of an eyebrow raiser for reasons that will become evident later. However, I decided to dig a little deeper and take a trip to this person's Twitter bio. Now, I'm showing you their bio because I want you to get a feel for the type of people who post stuff like this. I want you to get a feel for the type of people who post stuff like this.
And I'm glad he pointed this out. A lot of women that like gaming and are on Twitch, they are not there for gaming. They are there to run the pockets of simps, thought, show off their assets, and make money off of nerds. Because they know that all they gotta do is dress up as an anime girl, show cleavage, and they'll get all the money from the nerds. And look at this creator's bio, because I've seen this with my own eyes. I used to have a Twitch and I would game on Twitch, and a lot of women on Twitch are not there to game. They're there to get people to their OnlyFans.
I want you to get a feel for the type of people. Yo, I went to her.
And see, that's it, exactly. That's my point. And see, this is why I don't agree with the whole nerds are so hot, nerds are so sexy. Because when you look at their profile or you go on their Twitters, this is what you see. Half naked photos, OnlyFans. So you're saying to these nerds and geeks and gamer guys that are already starved for sex and hard up for sex, and they're craving for they're craving for a woman to just notice them. They're craving for an attractive woman, some type of woman, any woman to give them any type of attention whatsoever. And then you look at the women that say nerds are hot, and you see this. Let's continue.
I want you to get a feel for the type of people who post stuff like this. I want you to get a feel for the type of people. Yo, I went to her Twitch account.
Exactly my point.
See what kind of game she streams, and I came across this. I just got to put it in here because this shit is humorous.
Hello? What do they want me to do?
And see, a lot of these women that say gamer guys are cute, nerdy guys are cute, they have a fake Twitch and they live stream and they have no clue what they're doing, how to play a game, and they're just doing it to get simps into their chat so they can donate and they can link them back to their OnlyFans so that they can get more simps to pay for seeing them naked. Because the gamer guys or the socially awkward nerdy guys, they already don't get women as it is, so they're willing to pay a wannabe gamer because she said nerdy guys are cute. And now she's rich or running to the bank with loads of money from nerdy guys that can't get women. Continuing on.
I'm not understanding. What do these idiots want me to do? Oh, other way. I'm so stupid.
You get the picture? You picking up what I'm putting down? Let me show you one more example, and I don't have to travel far because it is the top reply at the bottom of the original tweet.
Hold on. What does this say? Let me read it. If they read Bleach, Berserk, and Fairy Tale, I owe them some. A lot of women don't even know what Bleach, Berserk, or Fairy Tale is. They haven't read the manga. They don't even watch the anime. They're just saying this to appease nerds for the sole purpose of them going back to their OnlyFans.
Like I said before, I just want you to get
Exactly. This
a feel for
y'all. Sometimes the jokes just write themselves. I'm sorry. Sometimes the jokes just write themselves. I'm sorry. Because you see the tomfoolery. Women say nerdy guys are cute. You go to the woman's profile. It's half naked pictures with an OnlyFans link. So she's doing that for a reason. And I've noticed this and I've seen this because a lot of women gamers, they really aren't gamers. They're just playing games to get male attention. And when you click on their Twitch or their gaming profile on YouTube, it's always them half naked with a low cut shirt on, and you always have the geeks and the nerds in the chat saying, "You look gorgeous, you look gorgeous, you look gorgeous." And then the woman never acknowledges them until they donate. Haven't you noticed that? They only get acknowledged when they give money to this gamer. If you were really there for gaming, you would acknowledge someone whether they donate or not.
the kind of people who post. Now, the problem that I have with this tweet isn't that it's a couple of OnlyFans girls trying to boost their subscribers.
Hoes gotta eat too.
The problem that I have with this tweet is that it's all cap. Because if you've grown up as a nerdy black dude, as I have, you would know that black women would not touch you with a 10-foot pole. But I'll talk about that later. Back to the tweet. It was so bad that somebody started a separate Twitter thread where they asked black women to post their nerdy black boyfriends. And all that Twitter thread ended up being was black women posting their conventionally attractive boyfriends who just so happened to be in the nerdy stuff. Now, I will admit that there was a few couples in there that truly were just two nerds falling in love. But what made the tweet even funnier was that in that thread, a couple of black women were getting exposed for lusting after white men in the past. And
yeah. And see, I'm glad he brought that up, because a lot of these nerdy black women, they really like nerdy white guys. They don't like nerdy black guys. They like nerdy white guys. They like the white dudes that be gaming and doing all this. They don't like nerdy blacks. They really don't. And as the video goes on, you're gonna understand why. You're really gonna understand why. Because I'm glad he pointed that out. Nerdy black guys, we didn't get any play. We didn't get any play, not from any woman, because the common excuse that women like to give is that, oh, well, you didn't get any play because you were too busy going after the women that look good and not the gamer women that wanted you. Nope. Try again.
And all I got to say about that is, those in glass houses should not throw stones. Now, here comes the part where I talk about my personal experience on this topic. I don't know if you realize it yet, but I myself am a black nerd. I am an African-American male who possesses unconventional hobbies such as anime and video games. I'm not going to use the term blurred because I think that shit sounds fucking stupid. I've been playing video games and watching anime since I was in grade school. I got a fat-ass PS2 game collection. On occasion, I hunt down rare retro games so I can add them to my collection. I really do this nerd shit. And I can safely say after 20 years of being a nerd has never gotten me any pussy whatsoever. No.
Yep. See, 20 years of being a nerd, and I can also vouch for that. I was a nerd. Like, I am going to show you, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you the types of shirts that I would wear. I'm going to show you. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, I'm back. So I'm gonna show you. I'm not ashamed of being a nerd because I'm a nerd, but I'm a well-dressed nerd. So these are the types of t-shirts that I would wear on a regular basis. And when I say regular basis, I mean every single day. I didn't wear dress shirts. I didn't wear dress shoes. I didn't wear suits. I wore these and baseball caps that look like this. So first, we have Super Mario. This is one of my favorite shirts, though. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. And then we have Star Wars. Shout out to any Star Wars fans we have in the house. This shirt, I got this shirt from Target. And I'm probably showing my age, but for those of you who know, you know. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what this is. If you've seen this movie, you know how old that movie is. But that was what I wore every day, Monday through Friday. I didn't get women at all. None. I was a late bloomer to getting women, a very late bloomer. Because being a nerd or a geek, you really don't get women. And that's the sad reality of being a nerd or a geek. Women run the other way. They run from you because when you're a geek and you're a nerd, all you talk about is the new Xbox, PS5, Nintendo Wii, the Wii U, the Switch, the new what was that new game that came out on the Switch? Shoot, what was it? Tears of the Kingdom. If you know, you know. It's one of those games that is very popular. But when you are a nerd and you go out with women, you're so excited to just have a woman be interested in you that you kind of unload on her all of this unnecessary gaming stuff that she really doesn't care about. So while she's there to get to know you, you're there to tell her about World of Warcraft, Magic the Gathering, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And she's like, ick, bye. And then she goes after a hood guy that plays NBA 2K. That's typically what happens. And I'm glad he said that because a lot of nerds, a lot of black nerds, we can identify with this. And then what happens when we get into these spaces is you have black women invalidating our experience by saying things like, oh, well, you need to grow up and you need to stop being bitter because you're grown now and you're invalidating our experience. Our experience is valid. Instead of invalidating it, why don't you do the opposite and say, you know what? There possibly is some truth to that. Because we all have different upbringings. We all have different things that we can learn from. We all come from different walks of life. So it's not your job, black woman, to invalidate another person's experience. Acknowledge that, you know what, it wasn't my experience, but I'm not going to invalidate yours because yours has validity.
Woman in the history of ever has ever wanted to date me because I told her I liked Inuyasha or Cowboy Bebop or Dragon Ball Z. No woman has ever thrown it back on me because I told her I like going to arcades. A woman has never had to wring out her panties because I told her I had a collection of PS2 games. It's just never happened. On the real though, could you imagine that? Hey girl, I play video games, I watch anime, and I got a big, juicy, thick PS2 collection. Being a nerd never.
Right. That doesn't happen. It truly doesn't. Like, no woman ever saying, I'm not going to date you unless you have a PS4, an Xbox One, a Nintendo Switch, old school gaming console, a manga and comic book collection, and the 1998 Ninja Turtles collection action figure in the original packaging. No woman says that. Find me one and I will find you a unicorn. No woman says that. Because at the end of the day, women don't love nerds. They love the money. They love the money that nerds have. That's what they love. The money that nerds have. Because the thing about nerds is we make money. We have technical experience. We have software engineers, data analysts, software, cybersecurity, director of IT, CIO, CTO. That's where the nerdy guys are. But y'all don't want to date nerdy guys, but y'all want that nerdy guy money.
Got me any bitches, just plain and simple. I'll tell you what it did get me though. It got me flamed and ridiculed often until about the beginning of high school. No joke, I got called gay for nearly a whole semester after I mentioned that I played video games. Y'all think I'm making this up? This happened in 8th grade. Now with this in mind, you can imagine how surprised I was when people began to come out of the woodwork just a few years later talking about how much they love nerdy men. Ooh, I love me a guy who likes anime. Now people are trying to rewrite history and say people didn't get bullied back in the day for liking anime.
Oh, you didn't get bullied for liking anime. You got bullied because you Naruto ran in the hallways and tried to go.
I'm not gonna lie. I did that. I did that. Naruto ran. I forgot how old Naruto is, but I remember Naruto running. It may not have been in the hallway, but it was somewhere. Because when Naruto came out, I'm not even gonna lie, I did the Naruto run. Guilty. I did it. Some of y'all did it too. Well, you laughing at me, some of y'all did it too. But a lot of us did get made fun of. I got made fun of for being a nerd and being a gamer. And the main people that made fun of me in high school and middle school and all throughout school, those same people are now in and out of jail, didn't really do anything with their lives, really didn't have anything going on in high school. And now that we've been out of high school for a substantial amount of time, it's like they really never got their lives together. So it's important to realize that if you're a younger nerd watching this video, trust and believe we've all been there. We've all been made fun of. We've all been pushed into a trash can at one point in our lives and made fun of for Naruto running down the hallway or trying to go Super Saiyan in the lunchroom. We've all done it. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. And if you haven't done it, I'm sure you know someone who knows someone that did it. Because I'm not going to lie, when Dragon Ball Z came out, I was glued to the TV. Glued. Toonami Cartoon Network. If you know, you know.
Super Saiyan in the middle of class.
Bro, how you gonna tell me what happened to me? How you gonna tell me I didn't get called gay for liking Dragon Ball Z? The worst offenders of this revisionist history campaign are the girls who want to sit there and tell you, oh, y'all didn't like us back in high school. Y'all always went after all of the white girls. Hold up.
See? You see that line? You see that line? Because earlier he broke it down. We didn't get anything in grade school. A lot of nerds and a lot of geeks didn't even get women. We didn't get white women, black women, Latino women, Asian women, Arab women. We didn't get any women. But of course, women have to make up a lame excuse as to why we didn't date them in grade school and even today. y'all didn't like us. Y'all were too busy chasing white women or the good looking women or the 8s, 9s. See, they always say, well, you wanted to go after the 8s, 9s, and the 10s. When the gamer girls were there, we just got ignored because y'all didn't want to date us. Y'all wanted to date the cheerleaders and the people that wanted to go after the football play. Like, no. And he's going to explain it right now.
Let me get this straight. So you're telling me that as hard as it was back then to find a girl, let alone a black girl who was into nerdy stuff, nerdy black men was just out here curving nerdy girls left and right?
Man, this is some bullshit.
I wish I was getting approached by some nerdy black girls back in high school and middle school. In my entire school career, I only knew 3 black girls who was into nerdy shit. One of them used to bully me, the other one friend zoned me, and the third one moved away. Now, 2 out of 3 of those girls are dating white guys now, but that's besides the point. All
See? Sometimes the jokes just write themselves. We all can identify with this because when we all were in school, or if you're in school now, or whatever part of life you're in while you're watching this video, a lot of the nerdy black girls didn't exist. There were no nerdy black girls in high school. And if there were, they really wasn't checking for the nerdy black guys. They really weren't. And even today, women don't check for nerdy black guys. They truly don't. Even if they are in the nerdy community, they really aren't checking for nerdy black guys.
I'm saying is nerdy black girls, nerdy girls in general, they was not just popping up out of thin air back in the day like y'all say they were. If anything, the nerdy girls were the ones who were going after other dudes, because there was always this weird phenomenon that happened in high school where almost none of the nerdy guys had girlfriends, but almost all of the nerdy girls had boyfriends. Look.
And I'm glad he pointed that out because I saw that as well. A lot of the nerdy girls had boyfriends, but none of the nerdy guys had girlfriends. Or if they did have a girlfriend, it was just for like a week or a few days. But the nerdy girls, no, they always had boyfriends. I'm glad he pointed that out.
Back in the day, it was a drought for nerdy dudes. I remember back in high school when we had this esports club, right? This was around the time all the freshmen, like all of the new freshmen that started joining the esports club, right? There was this one girl out of like 10, maybe 12 dudes. Anytime she would walk in the classroom, she just had a legion of dudes flocking her. She wasn't even that attractive. Like, she had teeth that looked like picket fences. Like, her teeth were throwing up gang signs. They were going in like all sorts of opposite directions. It was crazy. But for some odd reason, she always had this legion of dudes around her. So to anybody who says, you just didn't want us,
Shut your goddamn ass up.
that's
Shout out to Reverend X. If you know, you know. Shout out to Reverend X. If you don't know, who he is, YouTube Reverend X. After this live stream, you won't be disappointed. But I'm glad he pointed that out because not only were we not getting women, the women that we wanted to get with didn't even want us. So we were screwed. We didn't get any women. And even after grade school, and even after we got older, we still didn't get the women. By the time we were able to get the women were already barefoot and pregnant with 2 to 3 kids. By that time.
all we wanted back then. All we wanted was to be able to play Budokai Tenkaichi 2 with our little boo thing right next to us. But we couldn't get that. It was hard out here for nerds. And then you got people who just get nasty with it. I saw this one dude on Twitter say, you didn't get bullied because you watched anime. You were just a horrible person. I can't believe it. Watching Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z on Saturday nights on Toonami made me such a horrible person. How could I have been so blind? Man, compared to me, King Von must have been a saint. Bro, stop it.
Get some help.
Now, as much dogging as I just did on people who said we didn't get bullied for liking anime, I gotta agree with them to an extent. We didn't get bullied for liking anime. We got bullied for liking anime while being ugly. It's about time some.
And see, now this is where the rubber meets the road. A lot of guys got bullied for being ugly, for being socially awkward, for being people that just don't know how to interact with women. And during that time, and even today, the nerdy guy still kind of has the stigma of this. And for those of you who are just joining, hit that like button on the way in, leave a comment, start a discussion. But this is what a lot of women felt and saw nerdy guys doing. Remember, stereotypes exist for a reason. Not all stereotypes are made up. A lot of the stereotypes about gamers and about geeky guys were this guy, overweight, sitting in front of the computer. You see the Hardee's bag, the Monster Energy drink, the Red Bull, the game, the dirty keyboard, the half-eaten burrito. Like, you know the stereotype. And then you all know this stereotype. This stereotype with the pee jugs. Don't want to go to the bathroom, unhygienic, don't know how to dress, wearing long baggy shirts that don't fit, dad jeans, dirty shoes. Like, a lot of nerdy and geeky guys were bullied, unfortunately. And again, over here, we don't condone bullying at all. So if you're a bully out there and you're bullying people, stop it. Because nobody likes to be bullied. On the flip side, this is kind of why we were bullied as nerds. Like, his shirt is too big. He kind of looks like he hasn't showered in 3 to 4 days. He has a dirty desk. Like, no woman wants to date that or even be seen in public with that.
The truth on this subject, so I guess I gotta be the one to do it. I hate this topic mainly because it's so dishonest. Women, be honest. You do not like nerds. You like conventionally attractive dudes who just so happen to be in the nerdy stuff.
There we go. There we go. And if you were watching the stream, if you were watching this video at the beginning, I said that. Women don't like nerds. Shout out to the 3 women that are watching. Y'all don't like nerds. Y'all like guys that do nerdy stuff, like play NBA 2K and Madden. And I'm not making this up. This is real. If you think about it, why do you think hood guys and thugs and drug dealers and the guys that women typically date, what do they always do? They play basketball and they play football. what do they always do? They play 2K. If you're a guy that's in the 2K, I can almost guarantee you either you're a hood guy or you're a reformed hood guy. Because NBA 2K is like the staple video game for hood guys, as well as Madden. So you got 2K and you got Madden. So they're gamers, but they're not really into gaming. They just like Madden 2K. They don't watch anime. They don't watch Yu Yu Hakusho and Neon Genesis Evangelion and Dragon Ball Z, or they never grew up watching Voltron and Transformers. None of that. They just play 2K and play Madden. That's it. And that's the type of guy that most women go for when they say, I like nerds. They don't like the nerdy guys that wear the gaming hats or the gaming t-shirts or the lanyards, go to Comic-Con or go to conventions, or what's that other convention in DC? I forgot, but it happens every single year. It's not Otakon, it's another con. But a woman would never go to a con with him unless she can dress up as a thought and pass it off as cosplay. So I'm glad this guy said that because it needed to be said.
Seriously, can you recall a time where a man has gotten you soaked by telling you that he's read Berserk 5 times? I didn't think so. You met a guy that you found attractive, and him being into the same stuff that you were into was merely a bonus. You already wanted to date him. In my 20 years of living, I've never heard a woman tell another girl, he was fine, but he wasn't into anime. Can you believe that? I told him.
Right. That's another thing. I've never heard, seen, or experienced where a woman said, you know what, girl? He's fine, he's cute, he's attractive, but you know what? I can't date him because he doesn't read manga. He didn't play Pac-Man when it first came out. He never had a Sega Genesis or a Sega Mega Drive. He never build his own computer or play video games. He doesn't do any of that, and I can't date him because he is not a nerd. Said no woman ever. None. I have yet to see it. A woman is not ever going to turn down a guy because he doesn't like anime. It would be the opposite. Oh, you like anime? Oh, you like Marvel and DC? Nope, can't do it. Because even Michael B. Jordan was called corny by his old high school classmate. Somebody that he went to high school with. He was called corny. Imagine that.
I can't do this. My man has got to be into anime. He's got to be watching Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop. I've seen nerdy women date men who aren't even remotely nerdy. You want to know why they still dated them? Because they found them attractive. So women, stop lying and saying that you like nerds. You don't. Ugly people have it rough. When you're ugly, everything you do is deemed weird and unappealing. There's a...
Exactly. I wish I could. Let me see if I can find that meme. Let me see if I can find that meme. Cause there's a meme. The difference between harassment and let me find that meme. Because I'm glad he said that. It's a meme with like, here we go. here we go. Let me shoot. Let me download this real quick. Bear with me for 1 second, because I'm going to put it on the screen. Because being ugly, but see, here's the thing. You can change ugly. Believe it or not, just because you are ugly, fellas, or a woman feels you're ugly, you can change that. And I'm going to show you how. So stick around. So here's the big difference between, let me do this. I'm actually going to add this into the thing, into my slide. So give me 1 moment, because I want to bring this up because it's very, very important. Because there's a difference between flirting and harassment. When you're ugly, it's harassment. But when you're attractive, it's not harassment. And women know this. That's the reason why attractive men can get away with a lot of stuff with women. And women know this. Women know. So let me bring this up. This is the difference. Thank you for bearing with me, by the way. I'm glad he said that. So flirting versus harassment. Now this is real. That dress is sexy on you. Flirting, if you're attractive. That dress is sexy on you if you're ugly. Harassment. See, when you're an attractive guy, you can say and do whatever you want with a woman and she won't have an issue because it's not considered bad.
It took anime this long to go mainstream, even though anime's been out since like the 1980s. That's because attractive people started liking anime. And when people like Megan Thee Stallion and Michael B. Jordan started coming out talking about how much they like anime, that's when anime started to become mainstream. If these celebrities weren't talking about anime would have never seen the light of day. It would have remained underground and people would still be getting bullied for liking Dragon Ball Z. So,
and again, that's the truth. A lot of people like anime because of Michael B. Jordan and Megan Thee Stallion. That's why. And let's keep it a buck. That's the reason why a lot of women like anime and cosplay and game and get on Twitter and not get on Twitter, but get on Twitch and game because they're doing it to entice the nerdy guys to give them their money. So in order for them to get their money, you have to appease the nerds by telling them they're attractive.
if nobody's gonna say it, I'm gonna be the one to say it. There is a difference between a nerd and a conventionally attractive man who happens to like nerdy things. You want proof? I'll show you proof. There's proof in the very thread that I was talking about earlier about all of the girls going through and just posting their conventionally attractive man who just so happened to be in the nerdy stuff. Look at this right here. Look at how sad this is. This man posted his selfie talking about how he needs his confidence boost. Somebody posted in the comments, man, you better go find it.
That was wrong. That was cold.
On top of that, where's all of the black women who say they like nerdy black men? If it was true that you like nerdy black men, y'all should be running this man's DMs up. Look, even he knows what's up. In the name of all that is holy, y'all gotta stop lying to these men, okay? Just tell them the truth. Like, seriously, it's getting sad at this point. So In conclusion, black women, listen, you can lie to me and you can lie to your mama, but you can't lie to yourself. You do not like nerds. You like sexy ass men who just so happen to be into nerdy things. We not mad at that. We know that. Just admit it. There's no need to lie about it. So yeah, like I said before, I got a longer video in the works. It should be done pretty.
Exactly. You like attractive guys that just so happen to be into maybe one or two nerdy things, but you really don't like a full-blown nerd gamer guy geek like that. Because if that was the case, that nerdy guy that posted his picture for confidence, his likes would have been run up and his inbox would have been blowing up. No cap. So now we're going to get into what you can do as a nerd or a geek to improve your chances with women and to actually get a woman to notice you the right way. So here we have a typical nerdy guy, geeky guy. You know, I think you're really amazing. So the nerd look. Again, we've gone over this in the stream. There is a nerd look. Long t-shirt, baggy dad jeans, lanyards and gaming t-shirts every day. You know the look. So the stereotypical nerd look. Let me blow this up so you all can see it. So the stereotypical nerd look that a lot of nerds have is just not attractive. Think of Revenge of the Nerds. It's typically just they have no fashion sense. They just don't seem to care about their look or their fashion or even their hygiene. Hygiene is a big one because I've heard a lot of women say, I don't like to date nerds because they smell or they don't take care of their hygiene. And women can see that as, okay, he doesn't take care of himself. How could he take care of me? That's what women look at. If they look at you and you're unkempt, you smell bad, you have bad breath, your shoes are dirty, your car is dirty, your desk is dirty, why would a woman want to date you? So a lot of the stigma that comes with nerds has a lot to do with the nerds. So you don't have to lose your intelligence or your nerdy hobbies like playing video games or going to Star Wars conventions. Just start dressing better. And you just gotta dress better. And I remember talking to a guy that I used to work with. And he told me this, and I'll never forget it. And I want you to listen. He said, I'm a huge nerd. I'm a big nerd. But you would never know until you came over to my house. And I didn't understand what he meant until later on in life. He was saying that it's okay to be a nerd, just don't wear it on your sleeve. Just don't always be a nerd. Don't just be a nerd 24/7 and have nothing going on for yourself outside of gaming and collecting action figures and Marvel comics and Magic the Gathering. Like, you gotta have a life outside of being a nerd. And that's what a lot of nerds don't have. Your life revolves around nerd. If it's not computer games, anime, gaming t-shirts, gaming stuff, collecting figures, you don't care about it. But as a nerd, you can use your intelligence to make yourself look better. You can get a new outfit. Hell, you can even wear what I have on, a button-down shirt, dress pants, sneakers, and you can still wear the gaming hat like I have on. But don't be afraid to take that gaming hat off and put on a fedora or a different type of hat. That's what women are saying. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd or a gamer or a geek, but you just gotta be something else other than a nerd. It kinda can't be your entire life and your goals and inspirations are, I want to be the best Pokemon master that I've ever seen. You got to live in reality. And see, this is another point that I want to drive home. The good news, you got to get in the gym, guys. You got to live an active life. You can't be the typical, stereotypical, overweight gamer guy that just sits at home all day, eating Doritos, drinking Mountain Dew, and playing World of Warcraft. That's not attractive. You don't need to be buff. Nerds are usually seen as scrawny. And back in my nerdier days, I was only 135 pounds. Now I'm about 165. I'm not buff, but I'm not a junk. I'm still thin, just not scrawny. It doesn't mean you have to spend 6 hours every day at the gym, but if you spend 1 hour, 3 to 4 days a week, lifting heavy muscle, it will do wonders for your physique. And think about it. Do you want a woman to be turned off when she sees you with your birthday suit on? Either being scrawny or being overweight? Do you want her to be turned on? And one of the best feelings in the world was when a woman took off this guy's clothes and said, wow. And a lot of nerdy guys, you rarely have that because you either have a dad bod, you might have a gut, a belly, your arms may be too big, you might not have a neck, you might be overweight, you might be 200 plus pounds, and it's not muscle, it's fat. So you need to live an active life, even walking. Let's say you don't want to go to the gym. Walk. I walk every day. Every single day, with the exception of the weekend. Sometimes I walk on the weekend, sometimes I don't. But 5 days a week, I'm walking. That's living an active life. You gotta walk. You gotta go to the gym, exercise, eat right, put down the fast food, and learn how to cook. And that's another thing. A lot of nerdy guys can't cook. I've never, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching this. I've never met a nerdy guy that can come. Prove me wrong. I've never met a nerdy guy that can come. A lot of guys that are nerds, they have the typical nerdy guy diet. Chips, frozen pizza, French fries, high salt, high sodium, sodas, fast food stuff because they don't know how to cook. So there's nothing wrong with being a nerd, but if you're gonna be a nerd, you need to break the nerd stereotype. You need to be the best nerd that you can be for you. You are portrayed as weak. A lot of nerds are portrayed as weak. Finally, number one, the most unattractive quality of nerdy guys is that they are weak. They're weak, not by the stereotypical weak, scrawny nerd that's portrayed in the media. What they really mean is that you're weak on the inside. You're weak-minded, weak emotionally. And a woman doesn't want, or she's really not attracted to somebody that's weak-minded. You have no backbone. You're weak. And she cannot be attracted to a man that she can just walk all over and bully, which is why women test men. And if you fail the test, guess what? She automatically sees you as weak and you don't get the woman. Women think, is he a strong man that can handle anything that she or the world throws at him? Or is he a weak man that's going to crumble and get all emotional by anything she says or does? Because think about it. A woman's nature is that she wants a man that can protect her. And how can you protect her if you're afraid of her? You can't handle her. So she'll test you to see if you're that dude. So this is the reason why a lot of nerds don't get women. Now it's socially acceptable to be a nerd, but it's only socially acceptable because it's made popular by celebrities. So at the end of the day, guys, again, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. There's nothing wrong with liking nerd stuff, being in the tech, being into gaming, being into your hobbies. Maybe you build trains. Maybe you build action figures. Maybe you build dioramas or you collect action figures. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't make that your sole focus of life. Make that in addition to what you're doing right now. And if that's all you're doing, great. Do more. Do things differently. Go to the gym. Get a hobby. Get out there and make friends. If you're socially awkward, the only way that you can overcome being socially awkward is if you become social. You're not going to get over your fear of people sitting at home. Be the change that you want to see. And always remember, guys, you can either get better or you can get better. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the stream, whether you watched it live or watched it on the replay. Do not forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, tickle that notification bell. That will let you know every time I upload content. You're going to see me after this at the end screen where you can see all my videos. Don't forget, I have over 200 plus videos on the channel and I upload daily. So I will be uploading a new video tomorrow during the afternoon. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all my subscribers. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We're at 1,100 now. I want to try to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So we got plenty of time to do it. Tell a friend. Tell somebody else. Share these videos. Get the word out. And I will see you in the next video. Peace, love, happy Friday. I'm out.